Hi, this is Jackie Rainforth, and welcome to the Badass Superstar Selling Show. Hey, you can click on subscribe and watch us on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. Hi everyone, it's Jackie Rainforth from the Badass Superstar Selling Show. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have our special guest, Shane Wenzel, and his son, Sebastian Wenzel, from the Shane Homes group of companies. We are so excited to have them here. You know, Shane Homes, oh my gosh, it's been around for 41 years. An incredible family-run company. Shane, you've been running it for 10 years as president. Tell us more about the company and tell us more about your son and the whole family legacy. I mean, you've been a staple in Calgary forever. Tell us more.
Well, Jackie, it goes back in time. I mean, my father started the business with his business partner 41 years ago, and you know, they grew it from 6 homes a year up to 600 homes a year.
Wow.
And now it's become a company where, you know, we do multifamily, we do land development as well. You know, so it's evolved a tremendous amount, and you know, being president over the last 10 years has been great because I've, you know, watched and I've helped guide that evolution. And you know, as a family-based business, it's kind of an honor, especially when, you know, I get my son working in the company as well.
Wow, we're so excited to have Sebastian here. This is his first appearance, guys. So welcome him. Look at him. He's not even like shaking. He's meant for TV. He's meant for this. He's a pro. Tell us, what's it been like working with your dad and job shadowing?
It's been a phenomenal experience so far. You know, being able to learn it hands-on is definitely something I know a lot of students don't get that chance to do. It's not an opportunity for them, so I'm blessed in every way for that.
Oh, good for you. And what department have you been working in?
For the last 9 months, it's been the marketing department.
Great. And what are your goals? What do you see your future? Where do you want to go?
You know, I'd love to lead on the vision of what Cal's been able to accomplish and what Shane's going to accomplish.
That's great. That's great.
Great answer.
Great answer. Yeah. Way to go. Oh, that's awesome. And if you could, you know, looking at your dad and your grandfather, of course, is there anything that you have really picked up from them that you see that, one, you'd either like to carry on, or have you heard any great pieces of advice from them that have really resonated with you?
You know, the list goes on, but most definitely what I'd like to pick up off of them is their charisma.
Oh, well, I think you've got that in spades. Certainly have their smile. Yeah. And I think, well, personality is important, right? Because everything that you do in business really is about relationships, right? And obviously, you know, you walked into the room, you had that, you were willing to, you know, we just kind of said, hey, Sebastian, do you want to sit down and be interviewed? And he was flexible, he was accommodating, he said, sure. And obviously you've got that in spades, so good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shane, if I get back to you for a minute, tell us about the name and how the name came along. Is there a story with that? I mean, there's got to be a story.
Well, the story goes back to 1979 when Cal and Barry, his business partners, started the company. Barry was only in for 25%. And a little known fact was that Barry always told Cal from the beginning, if I can afford to retire at 55, I want to be able to do that. And Cal said, okay, sure, but you know, I want to name the company Shane Homes, and you know, I want a legacy company to leave for my family and my grandchildren especially. And Barry said, sure, that's fine.
Wow.
And true to his word, we hit the year 2021, and Barry was ready to say goodbye.
Wow.
And he's never looked back. He's never regretted that decision.
Wow. And isn't that something that he had that goal, he had the foresight to the vision, and we'll talk about that, leadership and vision, a little bit later on, but isn't that something that he wanted to have a legacy company for his children and his grandchildren? Yes. And here we're sitting with Sebastian today,
Funny.
You know, with this moment right here when Sebastian has come on board, his grandchild. So that is really, really exciting. And to actually make it, you know, with so few companies making it past the 5-year mark, you know, I think the stat is 50% don't even make it to 5 years. And here you're celebrating, you know, so many decades and decades of success later.
It's
Is
amazing,
there
isn't
a secret to your success?
I think there's a lot of secrets to the success of the company, but there's, I always go back to kind of the 4 basic principles or the values of the company where, we empower our people. We have a very strong process. We value a profit and the financial stability of the company, but more importantly, we value the customer.
Yes.
First and foremost, and we take that very seriously. If we're not working for them, we're not going to be successful at all.
Well, and putting the customer first is priority. And you do that not only with your employees, but with your trades as well. Isn't that right?
The trades are, we call them trade partners.
Trade partners.
Because,
that's great.
in a lot of cases, we have had some of the same trades in place for 20 to 25 years. So we value that relationship with them because, they're a part of our company. They're a part of the team as well.
Right.
So if they're, if they're going to be called anything, they have to be trade partners.
Partners. Wow.
And their values have to align with ours.
Right. And I think it's really important when you say that because, putting the customer first, I mean, that is the key to everything, isn't it? And one of the things that, I know that you do is you put so much back into the community. You are huge in giving back. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, some of the things that you do?
Well, again, that comes back to, being profitable, because if we're not able to give back to the community. But it really goes back to a comment from Cal and Edith, and it was one of the core values when the company started. And simply put, they just said, you cannot derive an income from the community without giving back to it. So we knew that was a large value for the company a number of years ago, and we've lived by that ever since. So, one place we like to reinvest in is back into the community through recreation centers.
Right.
We've sponsored a library out in Chestermere Lake when they didn't have one.
Wow.
Right down to Okotoks, back into their rec center and their multi-purpose arena out in Airdrie, with their hockey rink and their multi-purpose gymnasium. We've given back to Calgary Miners Soccer.
Wow.
As a way of getting back into the community, because there's a group that lives on a shoestring budget, and they stretch every dollar as far as they can. Yes, those values align with ours.
Absolutely, and it's families. You're giving back to families. So you're a family company giving back to families, and wow, that's incredible. It's incredible, and here we are sitting with family.
Family.
It's just full circle. It's terrific, really, really terrific. And guys, if you knew the company here, you would know that the employees are like a big family as well. It's amazing. A lot of the employees, when you talk about people, wow, talk about, there's very little turnover here, right? Like a lot of your employees have been here forever.
We've had, I think the longest running employee that we had at one point was 28 years.
Wow.
Right from the beginning, and we were sorry to see them go.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of people that have been here 10, 15, in a few cases 20 years.
Wow.
So some might argue that the turnover is enough. I would argue that, there's the consistency that you get from your staff.
Yes.
So they've made a commitment to us, so why wouldn't we make a commitment to them?
Well, it speaks volumes. And I think consistency is the word, because when you have employees that have, long-term employees like that, you do get that consistency. You've got knowledge, and you've got, a consistency that spills over to the customer experience. And that's what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
You're giving your customers an unbeatable customer experience. Do you want to talk about that? Let's face it, I'm a sales expert. It's all about being unique and different, right? How do you stand out above all the competition that's out there? And let's face it.
Well, honestly, it came up in a conversation, in a strategic planning session many years ago. How did we want to differentiate ourselves? Where did we want to be? What aligned with our values? And really what it came back to is, we weren't about being the cheapest price. We weren't about being the lowest quality. We didn't want to turn this big volume. We wanted people to have a great experience building their home.
Yes.
And you do that with everything that I mentioned before, with with your people and your process and your customers and your profit. But we really want to enhance the experience now, because if there's anything that we've learned over the last 14 months, is that people are looking for a very personalized experience. They've gone through a lot, and and now they've determined what's important to them.
Right.
We have to be able to accommodate that and and grow and evolve rather again.
Right. Well, I know I was in home building for a long time, and years ago, before they had selection centers, I used to help people do their selections for their exterior. And honest to Pete, it was what an experience. I didn't think some people would make it through without divorce. Like, seriously, they say that it can be as stressful as death and divorce, the home building experience. And you make it fun. You make your people make it fun, right? Isn't that what you do? Your whole home building experience is to make it enjoyable for people, so that it isn't stressful, so that it is. And hey, you do things that are unique and different that a lot of people don't do. What's this concierge service? Hey, tell me about that. I want to build a home and have a concierge service. Tell me about that.
Well, again, I mean, you learn a lot from a lockdown. I think I can say that now. You learn a lot from a lockdown, and not only having the people in place, but having those processes in place. We'll accommodate them wherever they are, but the concierge service is an extension of what we used to call My Home, and we partnered with a group called Virtuo here in Calgary, and that's what completes the concierge experience. So once they purchase, I mean, they're connected up with with an advisor who, helps them with all those daily tasks about, setting up, their new mail delivery and movers and really kind of being their friend throughout the whole piece. It's not that we disappear. They're an extension of who we are.
Right.
Having consistency with your sales team and your sales people, really, I mean, that's their first point of contact.
Yeah.
And with them being there for so long, they understand the process in and out.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of hand-holding and there's a lot of conversations that happen that you need the right people in place to make this experience as smooth as possible.
Oh, great.
But that concierge service really complements what we're doing now.
It sounds like it. Because of the amazing marketing. And I saw all that smart home stuff. I'm like, ooh, I want that.
Well, there's another good example of it.
Yeah.
People were ready for it. And they might be ready for a heck of a lot more, especially after really living in their homes the last 14 months.
Right. And we're going to talk about that. We will talk about that. So listen, how can people get a hold of you? I mean, we've talked about, the 4 things that really make you unique and different. We've talked about Shane Homes and how they are family oriented, guys. I mean, really, if you're, it's family. It's all about family here at Shane Homes and the Shane Home group of companies. They really are. They're about family, for families. They help families. That's what it's about. And they are family. I mean, what else can you say? And it is about their people, their process, customer and profitability, putting money back into the community. It's all about their culture here. And we've talked about that. As we move on into the next series, we're going to talk about a little bit about other things like leadership and Shane's great advice on leadership. We're going to talk about some other great little series as well. But where can people get a hold of you?
Well, they can find out about Shane Homes simply by going online, shanehomes.com.
That's terrific. Thanks. And thank you so much, Sebastian, for joining us here today. We really appreciate it. We can't wait to see your smiling face around, and maybe his picture will be out on the website soon under the About Us section.
Oh, you never know.
Right? Yeah. Take care, everyone. We'll see you on the next segment of Badass Superstar Selling. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, if you want to subscribe, you can follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. We have new content coming out every day. You don't want to miss it.